Hello, in this video let's discuss third question of today's contest. You are given two strings S and target both having length n consisting of English lowercase letters. Return the lexicographically smallest permutation of S that is strictly greater than t. If no permutation exists, then return empty string. A string A is lexicographically strictly greater than B if in the first position where A and B differ, A has a letter that appears later in the alphabet than B. The constraints are the lengths of both are up to 300 and they are equal. S and T consist of only lowercase English letters. So given two strings S1 and S2, which is S1 and T, S and target, we have to return the lexicographically smallest permutation of S1, which is greater than S2. First, let's take a very small example. Let's say the first one is ABC and the second one is BBA, which is the first example. And we have to find a string which is greater than this, but with a very small difference. So the answer is BCA, because this is the smallest string which is greater than this. For example, CAB is also valid, but CAB is not the smallest one which is greater than this, because we have BCA which satisfies the condition. So this is the string we have to return, but not something like CAB. So from this, what is the first idea that we can get? The first idea is we can start traversing through letters in S2, and then we can try to use the same characters as S2 if they're in S1, because we want with the smallest difference, right? Because let's say we have BBA, so why we did not start adding C here? Why we did not start add C here? Because C is the only character which is greater than B in the given S1 string. So why we did not start adding C, and why we thought of B? Because it will be beneficial if we add equal characters in S2, right? So that only then we can get a better string which is more than target. So if we are able to add B here, and then we came here, and then a B is used, so now what is the only character that is more than B? It is only C. So now we can add C, and as we add C here, then we can continue traversing. So from this, what we got? From this we got that when we are an index, it is better to add an equal character to answer when that character exists in S1, so that we can get the answer with very small difference, like it is greater than S2 but as small as than other strings. So now we can reduce same characters if they exist in S1, so it can be smallest among all. Let's assume both are equal, so that also can be a case. So this is S1 and this is S2. So now we will try to follow the same approach, because we decided to use equal characters. At A we used A because there exists A, and at B we used B because B exists in S1. So now they both are equal. So now we are unable to find a string which is greater than this. So now what to do? Now we can try to find the index I such that index I is greater than the character we are at. So now we got AB, right? So we used all the same characters because both strings are exactly same. Maybe both strings are exactly permutations before. Now as we tried the before approach, we are unable to get a bigger string. So now what we can do? So now we can start from last character. Why last character? Because if I have two strings, then it is better to change the indices which are at last than first, right? For example, we have AB, and let's say we have AC and we have CB, because we are changing the characters. So this is better or this is better? Obviously this one will be better, because we are targeting the higher indices. So with changing the higher indices, it will become lexicographically greater, but not as far, which we exactly want. So if we have many lexicographical strings, we have to return the smallest one which is greater, and this is what this means that. So when we have very same characters, then we can start traversing from the last character, so that it will be beneficial for us, because we want the smallest string which is lexicographically greater than S. By replacing this or replacing this, we can try to get, but it is better to choose the last one so that we can get our answer. And now let's say we have AB and we started from B last one. So is there any character in S1 which is which is more than B? No. So we don't have anything. So what can we do now? So just come to before character. So we came to A again. So is there any character which is greater than A? Yes, we have B. So try to add B here, because we are unable to add any more character here. So we came to here. if there is anything which is addable here, we'll add here itself. We won't come backward. As here we are unable to do, we came to A and we found whether there is any character which is greater than A. So B is the smallest one which is greater than A. So simply add B. And here we added B. So what about the next characters? So now this is already, for example, let's say the target is AB. So the target is AB. The answer till now is B itself, right? So we don't care about these characters because we already got a bigger string than target. So what we can do? So we can simply use all other characters and we can add them lexicographically wise. So for example, we have A, B, C, D. And let's say we got B here. And then we can add ACD here. So we can add ACD, or we can add CAD, or we can add any permutation of ACD. But which one will be better? Only ACD will be better. Why? Because we are already at an index where the answer of I is more than S2 of I. It means that we already dominated the string target. So why we have to maintain any particular order after? So why not simply add the characters from smallest to biggest, so that it will be smallest among all. So we already got a bigger character, so just simply try to add from the smaller characters till the higher one. So now we got how to tackle when we get all the same characters, and then after adding the same characters we will get the same string but not more. So we'll start looping from backward, and then if we find an index where there is a higher character than this in S1, we will try to replace this in the answer, and then all other characters we will try to add from the beginning itself, from A to Z, so that we can get the smallest answer possible. And now let's take other example. So we have lit and we have code. So let's start from traversing S2, and this is the first character. So is there any character C in S1? There is no character C. So what can we do? So we can simply use a more character than C, which is E here, any of E. So we will try to use E here. So even now it is the same case. We already got an index where it is more than C. It means that we don't care about these characters because we already got answer which is lexicographically greater. So we already got greater, but we want to make sure that it is the smallest one among all greater. So what can we do? So we can simply add DO. So we can simply add, these are the rest characters, right? So ELT are rest characters, so we can simply add ELT because these are the increasing letters. So ELT is the answer. So whenever we get directly more character, no need to care about others. So simply break the loop here and then use the rest of characters which are next to this, and then simply add in the lexicographically way. So if there is no character, go next character, then replace this. So now how to check if there is a, let's say we got A. So how to check if A is in S1 or not? We can use a map, but we can simply use a vector of 26, count of 26, where count of I indicates the character frequency of A plus I. For example, if we are trying to find count of 1, it means that it is frequency of B. So for example, if we use the character answer, then we can simply try to reduce the frequency. For example, we have AB and we have AB also here, and then we came to A. Is there a here? Count of 0 is 1, so simply use that. So make count of 0 is equal to 0. It means that we used all yes, and then add this to the answer and then continue. So come to B again, and then there is a B again. So make count of 1 is equal to 0 because we used that, because we are reducing. Initially as it is 1, we are making it 0, and then make it B, and then we completed traversing the loop. We did not find any answer, then start traversing from backward. So come from backward and then find the character which is more than this, so replace this and so on. So now let's discuss other example. Let's say we have ACBB and we have ABDC. So now let's start with the same ideology we started. So we have ABDC, and now start from A. Is there a in S1? A. Yes. So add A. Is there a B? Yes. Is there a D? No. So what we have to do? So we have to find the character which is more than D, right? Because till now all are equal. So when we are trying to add an index, this must be greater than or equal to D, else our condition will be broken. So but there is no such character, so we have to return empty string. No, because if we clearly observe, we are unable to do this. So why not try the before character to increase this? Because when we are at index I, it means that all the before characters are matched, right? If they are not matched, then we should have ideally returned at that position itself, right? For example, let's say we have 5 characters and then this is equal 1. So let's assume that this is not equal. So here something is b and there is no b in s1. So what we'll do, so ideally here itself we will try to find the character which is more than b in the string, right? We will try to find more than b in s1 and then we will replace that here and we will sort the characters next to it and then we'll add here. But what if there is no character which is more than b? What if a has all yes? What if s1 has all yes and then s2 has a b a? Then we cannot do anything, right? It means that we are unable to find answer, so we have to return empty string. So whenever we are reaching index I where we are unable to find a equal character, try to find the higher one. If there is higher one, then we can return answer here itself. So we'll replace the higher one and then we'll replace all and then we'll return. But what if there is no higher character than this? So if there is no higher character than this, it means these all are equal. Else we would have returned there itself by replacing the higher one than that one. So whenever we are reaching an index I with no greater, it means that all the before characters are equal with s2 of I. Only then we would have reached here. So now what can we do in this case? So here we are unable to do anything for d because there is no character which is more than or equal to d. So what we should do? So ideally what we should do? So we should target the higher indices, right? Because we are reaching here, it means that all the before are equal. So all the before are equal. So we have to try to change this one. We have to try to change this one to higher character because we already discussed that AC is better or CB is better. Anyways, these both are greater. So AC is better because this one with smaller difference because C is very more than AC. So even if we try to change the higher indices, it would be better. It would not much impact our answer. But if we try to start from beginning, it will be very difficult. So try to start from the higher indices so that answer will be greater than required one, but it will be as low as possible. So now, so come to B. So is there any character which is more than B? Yes, we have a character. So simply add C here. So add C here, and after adding C, we already got our answer because AC is already more than ABDC. So any string with the prefix AC is more than ABDC, right? So we got our answer. So what we should do? So we should simply add the letters in the order from smallest to largest, so that we can get our answer smallest. So only BB are left. So simply add BB. So their answer is ACBB. ACBB. So hope you got this. And now what we can do? So start traversing from S2. So if there are unequal characters, very good. Simply use those and decreasing the counter frequency. And then come to this. If it is there, decrease this. So now we did not get a character. So if we not get a same character, then try to find a smallest character which is more than this, so that we can replace here and then we can sort other characters and add here. So what if there is no character? What if there is no character? So we cannot simply return because till now all the characters are equal. So if we did not find an equal one also, or if we not find higher one also, then start traversing from the higher indices, like just before indices. So if there is any more character than this, very good. So simply add all characters, return. If there is no more character than this also, then come to this. If there is no, come to before. If there is no, come to before. If we reach 0 and even then if you are unable to find, simply return this. Simply return empty string. In this way we can find the answer. So hope you got this. Let's check the code. It is as simple as possible. Use the S1 frequencies and then initialize answer to n length and start from 0 to n. Find the character, and if the character is in S1, then simply use in answer and decrease the count because we used that character. And if there is no equal character, so find the smallest character which is greater than count. So start from start plus 1, and then if there is a frequency, return that because we are starting from lower character, and if there is a frequency, it means that exists in S1. So simply return C. And after finding that, if there is not minus, so we return -1 here. It means that there is no character which is more than this. So if next is not equal to -1, it means that we found a character which is more than present character. So simply use the same character in the present condition. So answer of I is equal to present character, decrease the frequency, and now we already got string which is more than target. So simply simply add the characters from smaller A to Z. So so go to next character because answer of I is already added. So come to next character. And now C is equal to 0 26. So if there is no count, add to the J. Because for example there are 3 A's, there are 2 B's. So simply add A, B, B to the string. So while there is no frequency of this character, add all these characters to answer and increment J. So that we are adding here and going to next character, adding here, going to next character, adding here, next character. And now return answer. And if next is equal to -1, it means that we are unable to find a greater index. So now what we have to do? So now we have to start from I-1 because till now all the characters are matched. So p is equal to I-1 to 0 and exact condition like before. So counter of tb plus plus because we are trying to remove the matched one. We are trying to remove the same one. We are trying to add bigger one. So we are removing this character. So simply add the frequency. So count this TP and then find the upper index which is slightly which is greater than count, and if that is not -1, if count is not -1, do same exactly as before, and if that is -1 then we cannot do anything, go to before index, so the loop will continue. And so when we reach it here, when we reach here, if we are unable to return, it means that there is no possibility till 0th index. Then what we have to do? So return empty string, because what if the string is AA and the target is AB? So in this case we are unable to find any more than string than this, even though we reach it till I is equal to 0. So simply return empty string. And now when we complete the loop, so when we reach here, it means that both strings are exactly permutation. Why? Because if there is any at least one different character, we would have written here itself, written answer here itself, or answer or empty string. We would have written anything. But if we are able to reach here, it means that both are permutations. And if they both are permutations, then start from last character. So this is exactly same as this. Exactly same. But we are just traversing from I-1 here and N-1 here, because when we are reaching this, all the string is completed. So start from n last character and then do exactly same as before. And if there is no character, simply return empty string. If you have any doubts, comment below. See you in the next video.